Okay, in this video, we're going to take a look at solving a division of polynomials problem using synthetic division. Now, to use synthetic division, we're only using that when our divisor, or what we're dividing by, has a 1x with the binomial, like an x plus 5 or an x minus 8. As long as this x has a coefficient of 1, then we can use the synthetic division method. And the first thing we do is that we solve this x plus 5. We set that equal to 0 and we solve it. And if x plus 5 is 0, then we know that x is equal to negative 5. Okay, well, this negative 5 is what we're going to be divided by. Now, once you write that negative 5, then you draw this line here. And these numbers at the top are the coefficients of our dividend. So 3x to the third, we write the 3. Then we write the 20. Then we write the 28. And finally, the constant 15. And notice that we have all of our exponents accounted for here. Our x cubed, x squared, x to the 1 power, and our constant. All right, so that's how you set that up. Then the first thing you do, you take this coefficient of 3, the leading coefficient, and you bring that down as a 3. Then this is where you multiply negative 5 times 3. Well, that gives you negative 15. So you have a 20 and a negative 15. So that's 20 minus 15, which is 5. Well, now you multiply the negative 5 times 5, and that's negative 25. So you have 28 minus 25, which is 3. And then finally, you multiply this negative 5 times that 3, and you have negative 15. And when you combine that with positive 15, you have a 0, so there's no remainder. So then these coefficients here go with the x. The first 3 is going to get the x squared, because again, our first term was 3x cubed divided by x to the 1. 3 minus the 1 is the 2. And then we go down to 1 and then to our constant. All right, let's take a look at another example. So in this one, we have 2x cubed minus 4x squared minus x minus 9 divided by x minus 3. So again, this divisor has a 1x minus 3, so we can use this synthetic division. We set x minus 3 equal to 0, and we see that x equals 3. So we are using that 3 is what we are going to be divided by. So we take a look again. So we have our 3, and then we set up our synthetic division. We write the coefficients at the top, 2, negative 4, negative 1, and negative 9, making sure all of the terms are accounted for with the exponents. All right, then again, you always bring down your first coefficient, 2, and then you start multiplying. So 3 times 2 is 6, and then negative 4 plus 6, positive 2. And then 3 times 2 is 6 again. And negative 1 plus 6 is 5. And then our 5 times 3 is 15. So then you have your negative 9 plus 15, and you have 6. Now this 6 is going to be the remainder. Okay, this 6 is your remainder. All right, so when we put our final answer there, this 2 is the leading coefficient with x squared, because again, it's x to the third divided by x to the 1. That gives you x squared. So 2x squared plus 2x plus 5 is our constant, and then 6 is a remainder, and we put that over the divisor up here of x minus 3. So 6 over x minus 3. Okay, in this last example, I'm showing you this one because we got to be sure to account for all of our terms. So we have 3x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus 6 divided by our x minus 2. We do have the 1x here in our divisor, so we can use synthetic division. We set x minus 2 equal to 0 and x equals 2. So we're definitely setting up with a 2. Now our coefficients are 3, negative 5, and 6, but I want you to realize we go from an x to the 4th to an x squared. So x to the 3rd is not part of it. Now we have to account for that. So that coefficient of x to the 3rd would just be like 0 x to the 3rd. All right, so we need to account for that 0 x to the 3rd. And that's where this 0 comes from. Then we write our minus 5. Then we have another x to the 1, which is not part of it, 0x to the 1. So that's, again, where this 0 comes from. And then finally, our constant 6. So we have our synthetic division set up. We bring down our leading coefficient of 3. Then we start multiplying. 3 times 2 is 6. So 0 plus 6 is positive 6. 6 times 2 is 12. And then negative 5 plus 12 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. 0 plus 14 is 14. And then finally, 14 times 2 is 28. Combine that with a positive 6, and you get 34. And the 34 is your remainder. So in our answer, this first 3 is going to get x to the third. That's because we were at 3x to the fourth divided by x to the 1. And the exponents 4 minus 1 give us the 3. So 3x to the third, this makes it positive 6x squared plus 7x plus 14 is your constant, and finally your remainder of 34 over x minus 2. All right, so that's a look at using synthetic division for dividing polynomials.